Welcome to the weekend. So we're going to be back working on this curbside snapper that we picked up. And I was rewatching the video and I wondered why it took so long to get to start. So I spent a little bit of time last night diagnosing it. And it turns out the coil was bad in it. And the plastic is like indented on top. And I used some electric parts cleaner and cleaned it. And then when I put it back on, it didn't even spark. So the one that's on there is, I think it's from the 1988 snapper. And it is not a point setup. It has an adapter on it, which I can plug into the current wiring setup. But the other two I had don't have the points built into the coil like this one does. So I'll have to look into maybe buying one of those if we can get this thing running reliably. So, in the meantime, I cleaned underneath the flywheel, lubricated the clutch. It fires a lot faster now when you squirt carburetor cleaner down the throat, but it still doesn't stay running by itself. So I'm thinking it's going to be a carburetor issue again. So maybe I missed some dirt or something that got into the carburetor. So we're going to be cleaning that out more thoroughly today. And when I find my compression tester, I'll test the compression. It is enough to blow my thumb out of it when I put my thumb in there and then put the drill on the clutch here. So we're going to be looking at that. I did notice the upper seal underneath the flywheel looks like it needs to be replaced. But of course that factors in if this engine will run reliably and under its own power and gas. So I also got me thinking what the condition of these handlebars are in. And they had a piece of all thread stuck in here that had all that duct tape on it. And it looks like it just sheared right off. So this whole handlebars are kind of hanging on to nothing. But, you know, I do have a spare set of handlebars for it. And these ones will work. I just have to take these end pieces off. So those will work. And I also have another front end with the axle. And this is courtesy of another snapper I picked up that had that Tecumseh on it. So that doesn't really want me worth restoring it, but I do have its deck and a lot of the good parts off of it. So if we can get this motor running right, we do have the potential to make this into a mower again, and that'd be probably the best for it. Of course, it does need a lot of help, but the main staple is, will that motor work? So let me get to pulling off that carburetor and cleaning it, and we'll catch you guys here in a bit. Alright, so we cleaned the carburetor. It is spotless, beyond spotless. Checked everything else, and now we're gonna give her an old spin here and see what we get. So hopefully this thing's gonna start for us. Well, if my battery dies, let me go get another one here. Alright, let's try this again. Nothing. Do we have spark? have spark. And it still does not stay running. Let's say it's back to the drawing board. Alright, place your bets now. What was it? I'll give you a couple seconds. Keep thinking about it. Keep thinking. Alright, well, first of all, I didn't have enough gas in the tank to even make it up to the pickup tube. And second of all, I don't think this spring is correct. I don't think this throttle return spring is correct, because even if you back it all the way to idle, it doesn't allow this to go to idle. It just stays continuously open. So there's no way for it to go back to idle. So it pretty much just roars at its full RPM, and then when you go to idle, it just stays open because that spring doesn't go back. But I imagine it might go away when I put the blower housing on, and the air vane here will allow it to go back to idle. So let me button that up, and then we'll see what we get. So this is that small estate sale Briggs I picked up, and it has the same governor setup as that snapper. And if you look here on this bracket, you see how that is straight. And so when you give it full throttle, it tensions the spring and pushes that to be full. But when you go to idle, it releases that spring tension and allows that to go to idle. So study that bracket right there. On this thing, whoa, where'd he go? There'd you go. See how bent that is? And twisted? So that's why there's so much tension on that spring. So I'm going to bend that back and see what we get. Alright guys, so I bent that bracket back, and sure enough, that tension on that spring goes away, and that allows it to go back to idle when it's in the choke position, and when you move it to idle. So let's give her a pull here. Put you guys on your little setup. Make sure you can see, and make sure we're in focus. So this is granted after I tuned it. So here it is. Well, needs a little bit more fidgeting here. Let's see if we can get it to idle for us. So a little bit more fidgeting with the screw here and the idler. And if you haven't picked one of these up, these 4-in-1 screwdrivers, they are amazing. You got 2 Phillips heads, and you got 2 standards. So we'll try that adjustment and see what we get. I'd say we got a good runner, guys. I think we need to work on that kill wire though, but that's mainly because of the kind of MacGyvered coil setup. So we finally got it running, yay. So good thing I had that other Briggs as a reference, although that did kind of point to me as odd as having that bent like that. And I do have the air cleaner screw in there. The filter, on the other hand, is soaked now because it's been raining off and on. So I'm daring the rain out here for you guys, which isn't a big deal. And also, tool-wise, I've kind of thrown everything I need into this bucket. And I do have a little small toolbox, which I'm thinking I'm just going to put all the tools I use the most in that toolbox. Portable, carried around, and that way my workshop doesn't turn into this giant mess as it has been. So now that we have a one-pole motor here, we can work our way and fix its little issues. Get a new coil for it, that's for sure, and then get a nice boot so I don't have to pop that thing off and on. But this thing has come a long way, so I will end the video here for now. But thanks for watching, guys, and hope your rest of your weekend is great. So thanks, guys. There's a good before and after. That's the same mower with the drive. Paid $100 more for self-propelled, which I think is well worth it. And there's my mower in the middle. So I had to get that ad, guys. Come on, it's perfect. So there's a good before and after of what it was. We might be able to make it like that again. At least make it useful. We can do that.